Hello, welcome back. Welcome to my shop. We are in a new shop now, new location, because Bay Area things. So we've got lots of stuff and tools, and we're getting ready for season 7 already because there's no time like the present to make good choices. Leading into this, my intention was to do an entire video about steel, about hardness, what we use it for, what the different alloys are, but then life got really busy and I ran out of time. And then the HiJinx versus Sawblaze fight for the World Championship aired, and some things went wrong. So I guess I need to talk about that, especially since of all of the audio and interviews that BattleBots recorded of me before and after the fight, the only bit they used was wrong. In my defense, I did contact the bot whisperer, and the true story just didn't make the final cut for the episode. In BattleBot's defense, they had a lot going on that day. Leading up to Season 6, HiJinx fans remember that I was hyping a secret weapon that we intended to break out, and here it is. This is the Extra Stout Bar. We don't have cute names for the weapon bars yet, but I'm open to suggestions. Leave a comment below. What makes the Extra Stout bar so extra is that unlike other chamfered bars that are run by other horizontal spinners like Tombstone and Icewave, this bar is not made out of tool steel. This is not in the S series of steel at all. This is AR 500, and there are several reasons why we are the only team that is doing this. So I've talked about AR steel in another video. It is a high carbon manganese steel, but what makes AR special isn't the alloy, not really. It's the heat treatment process. Both the alloy and the heat treatment matter. The heat treatment is what gives the special properties that are relevant for combat. It also makes the steel extremely difficult to machine, to cut. There are other very hard alloys that are easier to cut because they produce nice, reliable, uniform chips, but AR steel often has inclusions of extra hard material, and those pockets of non-uniform hardness wear out the cutting tools very fast. They can also just break the tools. If you are spinning into an extra hard pocket and you hit it, your tool might chip, and then your run is over until you replace the tool. So if you want to cut AR steel, you need tools that are harder than AR, and you have to have a lot of them to replace when they wear out. This also means that you cannot automate the cutting process. The machinist who cut this bar, for us, had to babysit the project the entire time. That means that a real human person spent 120 hours of their actual life tending the machine. Incidentally, it was a large Haas mill. And that produced this object. The only machinist that I know in the world who actually wanted to try this crazy plan was Michael Bacconi, our sponsor at Integrated Motion System in Roseville, California. Michael, you are a madman and I appreciate you. And as mentioned on TV, this bar has a different shape than either our stout bar or the iconic long bar, which you can see behind me. Our standard weapon bars are designed so that the tooth, the part that makes contact with the opponent, has a rake angle. No, not that rake, this rake. You'll find this concept in the world of machining where we're trying to take a bite into the material. The rake angle matters for how you cut, and effective cutting varies by material properties of what you're cutting. In the world of weapons, the kind of impact we achieve with the long and the stout bar is not meant to slice into the opponent. Not exactly, anyway. What we're aiming for with these bars is an impact where the energy is concentrated to a small, positive bite point with a lot of mass behind it. So it's more like smashing your enemy with a war hammer and less like slicing with a sword. Savvy? Meanwhile, the chamfered edge on the extra stout bar would be more analogous to hitting someone with a broadsword. There is a lot of mass, and it is not a fine edge, but it is meant to cut into the opponent instead of smashing them away. And the reason I wanted to avoid using tool steel for this application is, basically, I've had bad experiences with using tool steel in a fight. I've had it shatter on me, and I'm not the only one. Bloodsport famously shattered their S7 weapon bar, and so did Icewave. In fact, I have a piece of Icewave's bar here with me. Thank you, Mark. And what's really delightful about this piece, I'm getting really close and see if you can see what's going on here. Yeah. What I love about this is that you can see the energy of the impact as an artifact in its breakage. And this is why we have like basically a wave here. And when I get a chance to talk about steel more in depth, I'm going to tell you exactly why that happens. But to be clear, making weapon bars or hammers out of tool steel is easier by far than making it out of AR steel. And if we're talking apples to apples, which we are not, S7 tends to be harder than AR-500, so when a tool steel weapon comes in contact with AR armor, there's a good chance the tool steel will go through it. We'll do more on that later. But for now, you're probably wondering, if we put so much time and effort and energy into making this wonderful bar, why didn't we use it? Well, things went wrong. We use Autodesk software to create pretty accurate and reliable calculations for the weight of every component on the robot and the total mass of the assembly. This matters. You cannot exceed the 250-pound limit, except for decoration weight. When we ran the calculation on this bar, in CAD, the weight came out pretty close to the stout bar. It is thicker, but it's several inches shorter, and it has these deep pockets cut into it that help remove excess material to keep the weight down without sacrificing strength. We also did a round of FEA, that's fine element analysis, to see how this bar would respond to catastrophic forces impacting from below. You know, the kind of force that uppercut can generate, like when they hit our stout bar in the tournament fight for Season 5. Sad day. According to our calculations, this weapon bar with the vertical tail was meant to come in at 249 pounds and would effectively be our heavy configuration for HiJinx. But in reality, due to machining restrictions that came into play as we were running out of time ahead of Season 6, some extra material was left on the ends, and we did not know how much. When we installed this bar with the vertical tail, that configuration that we intended to use for any vertical spinner or any plow forward robot in the field, we put HiJinx on the scale and the baby was 4 pounds overweight. Now, we do have decoration on the robot. The nameplate, the face, even the hubcaps can all come off, and it's not a detriment to performance. And BattleBots allows for decoration weight up to 10 pounds, but that allowance is at the discretion of your opponent, and no one is obligated to give you extra weight. So when we approached Jameson Go to ask if he would allow decoration weight, he said no. Let me be very clear about this. Jameson made the right choice for his team. I do not begrudge him that decision. If our roles were reversed and this is a tournament fight, I might have done the same thing. If he allowed us any potential advantage at all, and it risked his tournament run, that would be a mistake. In BattleBots, there are hundreds of ways to lose a fight, and one very narrow path to victory. Plus, I mean, just look at this thing. If someone else installed this on their robot and tried to take a swing at me, it's a scary day. So this circumstance left me with a tough decision. I could remove all of the decor, and BattleBots production would probably be annoyed with me that the robot looks derpy, and then I might still come in a few ounces or a pound overweight. The only way to guarantee that HiJinx would be under the 250-pound limit was to change out the AR-400 top panels for our aluminum armor against an extremely powerful top attack robot. Or we could change the configuration of the bar and the tail to one that was definitely underweight. I thought about it, I talked to Orion about it, and I talked to the team about it, and given the kind of damage that Sawblaze can do and the location of our very expensive electronics components, I could not bring myself to run aluminum top armor against a top attack robot. Top attack robots are kind of a worst case scenario for HiJinx because we have these long, wide top panels. I was actually pretty scared in Season 5 that we were going to have to fight Scorpios for this exact same reason. So we're left with the decision that we basically need to change out the extra stout bar for the stout bar. And we could not change out only the bar because the tail that matches this configuration, this can only run with the extra stout bar because it's shorter and the stout bar would actually make contact with it. Basically, the horizontal tail fits the long bar and the stout bar. The vertical tail only fits with the extra stout bar. I don't know that I made the right call, but I think I did. Sawblaze put their weapon right through that AR-400 steel like it was butter. The force of those impacts actually buckled and deformed one of the panels. The bolts holding it on sheared. Their weapon went into the drive pod directly. It's still causing damage. Although, I don't know if you see this. This is actually pretty cool. So despite this being like completely crunched in, the motor still turns. Yeah. Try to look casual. I am not casual. I don't do anything casually. Looking at that video, it's hard. Did it matter that we used AR400 steel instead of aluminum? Maybe. Probably, actually. If we had put the 6061 aluminum panels on... that's a steel panel. Why did I put the aluminum panel? I'm just going to show this to you because I think it's very fun. So, this is our aluminum panel, and this is our AR400 steel panel. They look identical. The only way you can tell which one is which is if you pick it up and feel the weight. That's on purpose. Always being tricksy. If the extra stout bar had been installed, would we have been able to do more damage to Sawblaze? Probably. The stout bar is definitely not the right bar to use for that fight. But if we had the 6061 aluminum on top, it might have caved in even faster. Like, these might have just been destroyed even quicker. Maybe we wouldn't have lasted a full 3 minutes. Like, maybe that fight would have been over in 30 seconds. And I did not want that. All I know is that minutes before the most important fight of the season, for us, the most important fight for this robot so far, we scrambled hard and fast to change the configuration in the pit that would allow us to get into the arena. Win or lose, we showed up for that fight. Jameson and I have both had the experience of watching our robot exit the arena within 30 seconds, and neither of us wanted that. So let's talk about damage. It's hard to see what I'm doing. Everything's hard. One thing you have to remember about BattleBots is that when the tournament starts, these robots have already taken on a lot of damage. And this tail was used in 2 prior fights, Mammoth and Sub-Zero. In both of those fights, we were thrown up in the air and landed on the tail, the weapon, the wheels, etc. So it is highly probable that there were already stress cracks in this tail when we equipped it. And honestly, the tail is both a wedge and a stabilizer. Like, it does a lot of work, but HiJinx is balanced in a way that we could actually run without a tail completely. Like, it would be really bad for the floor, but we could do it. And I want to show you how it broke. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if this is going to be visible. Yeah, this part right here. Heavy. Everything on the robot is heavy. It's like the worst baby. If your baby was large, metallic, and violent. Okay. Because this fits together like this. Important thing to note, this piece is continuous all the way down, and that rail continues onto here. Right. It wasn't the weld that snapped, but these arms themselves that join the upper and lower section, that one continuous piece, these were stressed to death and they ripped. They ripped steel. That is a lot of force, kids. These 2 pieces are welded together, but this is actually part of this side rail. This is one continuous piece. It's supposed to join them. So could I repair this? Sure. Am I going to? No. I'm going to take these 2 pieces and put them up on eBay, and let me show you why. So this gnarly bit right here is also not a failed weld. This is in the heat affected zone. Sawblaze hit this and it crumpled in. And, you know, we hit here, it didn't go through, hit here, didn't go through. But the truth is, if I were to do even an immaculate repair on this, if I were to just perfectly rebuild it, I would never trust it again, because this has seen so many forces, so many hits, and so much damage that I wouldn't run it unless it was an emergency. So I'm not even going to bother repairing it. I'm going to put it up on eBay, and I hope that someone takes it home. I'll sign it. I will sign it. It'll be great. Put a little velvet behind it. Be a nice trophy. I'm not going to tell you all my secrets today. You have to tune in for the next video, and then you get the how to weld. And same with this. This is, oh my gosh, I just realized this has glitter on it. I don't know if you can see. There's like glitter stuck to the inside. I bet that's a jackpot glitter. We didn't fight jackpot, no spoiler. Yet. So hey, if you love HiJinx and you want to see us do better in Season 7 and get all the parts that we need to be competitive, go to eBay when we put this up and bid on it. If you think that HiJinx sucks and Sawblaze is your favorite robot and you just want a trophy to how badly we got our butts kicked, that's fine. Go on eBay and bid on this piece. You can have a little trophy for your favorite robot fight. I don't care. Whatever makes you happy, it's fine by me. I just need that money. Oh, I guess I need to show you the chassis too. Get a little... Today's tea is bubble tea. It's not bad. Don't put drinks on the welding table. Okay, now here's the fun part. I'm gonna... Here's the chassis. Okay. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. So, let's see if we can get in. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, Sawblaze just went right through the AR400 there. What else we got? See where my finger is. There it is. Yeah, this is supposed to be one continuous piece. Sawblaze went directly through this. So this is kind of ruined right now. Like, I could repair that, but I don't think I want to. This is where a lot big damage happened over here. That's all visible. Yeet. I mean, that kind of sucks, but it's a really durable robot. Like, that's a lot of damage. Also, there were so many hits. There are so many hits. This is a hit right here. This is one of these hits caused this whole armor panel to buckle and then come off, and that exposed. This is where the drive pod sits. You can see the shadow of it. The rail. This is the internal frame for it. This is also AR500. Excuse me. This is also AR400. I want to tell you right now that what we do with AR steel is actually not industry appropriate. You don't use AR for structural members, but we do because we're stupid. And ooh, we got some fuzz there. Yeah, we got this damage. This is just... There's just so much going on here, right? So, the truth is, I could fix that, and we talked about whether or not I would fix it, like whether I would cut the top frame off and weld an entirely new top frame on, whether we could cut pieces off like we did after the Bloodsport fight, like weld pieces back together. And I'm going to be honest with you, much like the tail, I don't want to do that. Even if I did an immaculate job repairing this chassis, I wouldn't trust it ever again. It's seen too much. It'll be like a reserve backup, you know. If we are lucky enough to get into the tournament again for Season 7, and we get through a bunch of high damage fights like you do, this will be the backup. Or we can sell it. I like that idea better. Yeah, do I have the skill to repair that? Sure do. Do I want to repair it? Sure don't. I do not. I contacted our sponsor, Bebber Brothers, last week and told them what I would really like to do is get a complete set of chassis pieces and build an entirely new chassis and basically just retire this one. Like, if you're a Formula 1 driver, you only drive the car as hard and as fast as possible when you trust that it's not going to fall apart around you. And if I send this back into the arena, I'm always going to wonder if there's some damage that I didn't see, some cracks that were hidden under paint, and I will never trust this chassis again. A new construction is always stronger than a repaired chassis. Just the way it is. Also, that blue HiJinx shirt that I wore to the fight, that's also getting retired because it has a big blood stain on it where I cut my hand on HiJinx trying to evaluate the damage after the fight like a knob. But anyway, if you would like to support HiJinx without having sharp pieces of metal laying around, please go to offbeatrobotics.com/merch. Get yourself something nice and soft, maybe a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. We also have, we have pins, little long bar pin, and of course the ever-coveted poker chips. Again, that's offbeatrobotics.com/merch. We'll put a link down in the doobly-doo. After this fight as well, I went into the spares pile and I modified, let's just show that. So, after the Sawblaze fight, I went into our spares pile and I pulled out all the pieces for a vertical tail, modified the fenders so they would be shorter, save a couple of pounds. So we have that tail somewhere here in the shop, ready for a new fight. How do I end this video? Coming up next on Offbeat Robotics, I'm going to do a whole video just about steel, about the alloys, about the hardening process, about where we use each kind of steel. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.